So we're very happy to launch the League Managers and Coaches Association of Ireland Twitter page. It's LMCAI Ireland on Twitter, and loads of followers already today. I'm Jamie Moore, and I'm joined by the interim chairperson of the group, Stephen Henderson. Stephen, good evening. How are you?
How are you, my man? I'm very good. Thanks for asking.
Stephen, thanks a million. I'm great, thank you. We're all very excited about the launch of the League Managers and Coaches Association of Ireland. Tell me more about the idea, where it came from, and how it's going so far.
Well, I think it started about a year ago, Jamie. All the managers within the professional league and the Premier Division, the Fourth Division and the Women's National League. I think historically there's never been a voice for managers in this country. And just with the way it transpired that the FAI was being run, we felt it was important that managers and coaches within this country had a voice in terms of where football was going to head next over the next 3 or 4 years. So we had a meeting down in Portlaoise. We had a huge attendance there in terms of our Premier Division, Fourth Division, and some of our Women's National League managers attended. And from that process, we decided to put this association together and effectively to give a voice to the coaches. But it's not just League of Ireland coaches, Jamie. It's we're looking at the professional level, the intermediate level, the junior level and grassroots level, because football, as proven this week especially, is on its knees at the moment, and it needs a constructive voice there. We have to come together in a situation like this. I've never seen so many facets of football in this country so fractured and separated. And the fact that we don't have any managers communicating with any of the major groups in here, I think that's a concern, and that's something that we're going to look to try and rectify as we move forward.
And the idea, Stephen, of the association is to represent, advise and help football managers and coaches at every level of the game. And you spoke about that there. So it's any person who's involved in football in the coaching and management capacity can be helped and advised by this new association.
Yeah, well, the higher the level you are in football, it doesn't matter, it's this country or any other country. In terms, professional coaches will need a different service to what an intermediate coach, who would need a different service to what a junior coach, likewise to a grassroots. And, we're putting the website should be launched, please God, in the next 2 weeks. And, we want to be able to, not just facilitate professional managers, we want to be able to put up session plans. We want to put video content up. We want to have master classes, and we want to really have an educational tool to it, as well. We had a good conversation with Niall O'Regan and the Coach Education about some form of a partnership, which would be very important, for coaches going forward. There's loads of stuff that we're going to do that we want to do, but we need the support of the coaches. At this moment in time, we have something like 88 pro-licensed coaches not working, Jamie. It's like you go and you spend all this money, you accrue the highest football license in world football almost, and the only thing you're guaranteed out of that in this country is to be not working. And we have to find ways to find employment for these people who have spent thousands upon thousands to educate themselves. And it's the same with our UEFA A's, Jamie, our UEFA B's, and it's people who are educating themselves, and we expect them to do stuff for nothing. So there's a whole conversation that has to be had around the coaching in this. We have a great coach education here. You know that yourself. We've turned out some fantastic coaches with nowhere to put them. So what we want to try and do is have a conversation, a constructive conversation about how can we get coaches paid. Do you know what I mean? How can we keep them in work in different areas of the football industry? This is open to strength and conditioning coaches. It's open to nutritionists. It's open to everybody in the professional football industry. That we just want everybody involved in it. And I think the thing with it is, Jamie, is that the more people that we can get to subscribe and become members, the stronger our voice will be. I think the power of common sense and coach showed there the other day when the DDSL, changed the format without any form of consultation with any kind of football people. And it caused uproar, and people were really upset about it, and they voiced their concerns. And thankfully today they changed their mind. But that's the power of constructive constructive observation, constructive criticism, and coming together as one voice. That's everybody. That was pro license, and that was, you know what I mean? That was Kickstart coaches all coming together and saying, hang on a minute, enough is enough. So we have to kind of have a look at that, try and get our coaches into some of these committees, Jamie. Do you know what I mean? I think the DDSL should have a pro license holder within that committee, within the executive committee, to help make football decisions, so as they don't use 9, 10 and 11-year-olds as a political football to kick around. It was borderline disgraceful. The other question you have to ask is, why did they do that? Is that another cry from help for them because there's no communication with the FAI? We don't know why they done that, Jamie. But what we have to do is find out why is it. Because there's a clear breakdown of communication from the FAI to its affiliates, and we're all getting affected by it. And there's a war going on, and there's no need for a war. So hopefully, as we get this coach association up and running, we can put a constructive voice behind it.
Yeah, and as Stephen mentioned there as well, this is for coaches across Ireland, and the website will be launched very soon. We do have a new email address as well if people are interested in finding out more information. The email address will be important because people will want to maybe join or find out more info, and there'll be more info on that coming in the next couple of weeks as well.
Well, yeah, I think what we were trying to do, we need to build a membership. There'll be a small subscription fee for that, Jamie, in order to gather the finance so as we can do what we're trying to do in terms of we want to bring top class coaches that we have here in Ireland. We want to use them, but we want to take them from abroad as well, hold seminars here, hold master classes here. This will all cost money. We want to introduce Manager of the Month awards, across all levels, to really kind of push home the importance of coaches and what they do, because we feel that they never get the respect that they deserve, and that's the truth, Jamie. And at a professional level, then we have to sit down and we have to ask the FAI. We need someone on that board. We need someone on one of those football committees, with a constructive voice. We had a meeting, all the managers, with Gary Owen there last week. It was a constructive meeting, and the questions that were asked by our coaches were what we would have expected. They weren't aggressive. They were very constructive, easily asked questions, and with some solutions thrown in, and that's what we need here. We need all this infighting to stop, and I just think that our coaches, we have that capability of doing that and bringing football on the way it needs to go, because right now it's a mess, and we have to get as many people with the knowledge to get involved in these processes.
And it's something, Stephen, as well, that we've seen particularly recently at a League of Ireland level, with the way that the season's been suspended and all of the managers on the one call with the FAI, and we see on a Friday night or on a Saturday morning in the local park or whatever, the managers are doing their best for their team. But away from that, there is also, and hopefully this will prove to be the case with this new association, of, a collective between football coaches and football managers, and that if a change is needed or something, a question needs to be asked, it can be asked as a bigger group of people than just one person putting their head on the line and, risking maybe getting themselves, I'm not talking about getting in trouble, but, there are certain issues that coaches will feel more happy at asking now as a group.
Because if they come together as a group and they use their experience, remember, Jamie, these are on the coalface. These were the ones that were, the managers were the ones that didn't have a voice. They weren't been asked any questions. In fact, you had current players coming out and telling their manager what was going on. Which is fundamentally wrong if you think about it. You know what I mean? A manager is supposed to be the one in charge. He's supposed to be the one who puts his plans together. He's the one who drives those plans home. But then all our managers were waiting for some players to tell them what was going on, and that's just wrong. Do you know what I mean? And that just reflects horrendously on the whole situation. But it's like you say, if we have a manager's voice and the managers come together, we all work with training sessions. You know what I mean? This is we know what the training sessions are. We've educated ourselves for the last 40 years on how to do these training sessions. Do you know what I mean? Was there any consultation with managers? No, there wasn't. Do you know what I mean? And this is a problem. The consultation always seems to be happening with administrators. So what we do, we feel we do need to get people in there, football people with a good knowledge of the game, and and work with the medical people and work with the administrators. And make it easier for us all to work to one plan. Because as you said, we had 4 teams coming back earlier than the rest of them. Do you know what I mean? That was a mess. They had a tournament for these 4 teams. That's been cancelled. You know what I mean? The integrity of the game. you know, the sporting fairness that was gone because the 4 teams were getting a better start than the other 6, and all this stuff could be discussed with managers and coaches and football people. Do you know what I mean? And a real proper plan could come up, a fair plan that's benefit for the teams, benefit for the coaches, most importantly, benefit for Irish football, and that hasn't been happening enough lately.
Yeah, and I think we have to say as well, you know, apart from those type of issues, the idea of this League Managers and Coaches Association of Ireland, Stephen, is to help, and that's in the tagline on Twitter, is to help coaches and managers. And you mentioned workshops, and, you know, the wealth of knowledge among Irish football coaches and managers in this country at all levels is huge. And the hope will be that they can come together for different meetings and, you know, Zoom calls and eventually physical meetings again, where ideas can be bounced off each other, and ideas for training sessions and ideas on set pieces and ideas on anything really.
Well, like, that's what we hope to use the website for as well. We would hope that managers will do sessions for us, and we'll download them onto the we'll do Q&A with the managers, live Q&As with the managers. We'll hold conferences for all our members to come, and you know, we can all meet, and similar to what they do over in America, we'll start running conventions like that. That's our plan. That's all down the line, but we need support. And that's all the good stuff. That's the stuff that we want to concentrate on. We want to really enjoy the football side of it and really help the coaches, you know, to improve, to, you know, get better and be the best that they can be. You know, but it is important that we have a strong football environment, a strong football industry for them all to work to. So, you know, this association is twofold. It's really there to help at the professional level of the game. Obviously, the requirements there, as I was saying earlier, are different. But we really want to drive home really good information in terms of the content of our website, in terms of the content of the videos we put up, in terms of the content of the training sessions, the set pieces, and then question and answers with managers for everybody to come in and ask them, and just stay engaged all the time, that we're all working together as one. You know, Keith Long manages Bowes, Joe Soap manages Killarney, whatever. Do you know what I mean? But we're all on the same page and we're all working towards the same goal, and that's to make our coaches better, try and get them paid a few bob, you know what I mean, and try and get reductions in certain courses for them, just to try and push them and help them all the way. We're here to be positive, Jamie. We're here to have a positive effect. There will be absolutely no politics within this organisation. I can assure you of that. There will be no politics. Every decision will be made for the benefit of the person.
Great stuff, Stephen. And lastly, the launch of the Twitter page is why we're having a chat, and we're excited about this too, because a lot of that stuff, and we've seen the power of social media for people learning and sharing ideas, and even having a bit of crack and a bit of banter with different people, like-minded football coaches, football managers, people. So we're very hopeful that the Twitter page will take off nicely and be a good resource for people to use as and when they need to.
Yeah, and I think it's really important. And I just genuinely, I'm urging every coach or football person to get behind that Twitter page and just show the power of it. I think, as we said earlier with the DDSL, the power of coaches coming together when a wrong was been done. You know what I mean? And we can get as many followers on that. It will show our strength and it will give us a voice, and we can stop that kind of nonsense from happening going forward. That just a flippant whatever angry fella just decided to you know, interrupt, you know, some 5-10 years work on some people was just whipped out from under their feet without any thought, without any consultation. All that nonsense has to stop. So if we can get people to follow us on Twitter and become a member of the actual association, it will really give us a strong voice, and we'll be able to go to these people and keep an eye on these people and call them out when they're making nonsense like that. Yeah,
and eventually we'll launch an Instagram and a Facebook page as well. Yeah. And maybe a podcast coming down the line too, which is exciting. So Stephen Henderson, the interim chairperson of the League Managers and Coaches Association of Ireland, thanks for having a chat. We're delighted to launch the Twitter page, and people can check that out for more information. And we'll see you again very soon, hopefully on the side of a football pitch or in a football stadium or somewhere actually at a football match when this virus finally, touch wood, praise God, it goes away.
Football anyway, Jamie, that's for sure.
Stephen, thanks a million.
Come here, Jamie, thanks very much for that. Really appreciate it.